Hi everyone! In today's video we'll be looking into some quick little things that I found a lot of mothers and parents in general being worried about that I wanted to address. These are 4 things to keep in mind around your newborn's health. Number one. Number one is around if you're worried about baby, talk to someone. Talk to a professional, talk to a doctor, a midwife, whoever that has helped you give birth to the child, talk to them. That's why the experts are there, and no matter how silly you might think the question is, it might actually lead to something bigger and something more serious than you could have thought if you don't check in with experts. So make sure to check with the experts about any issues you have, and don't worry in silence. It's just easier to get it off your chest. Just ask yes or no question, whatever it is, and get it checked out. Number 2, if your baby is unwell, ask yourself some basic questions or check on these things to check the health of your newborn. One is your baby alert? Simple thing to make sure your baby is alert. You know, if they're asleep or if they're kind of unconscious, that's a red flag. If they're asleep, that's not an issue. If they're not conscious, that's definitely something that you need to look into right away. Number 2 is baby responding to noise or any other stimulus things, touch, feel, sight even a little bit, but mostly noise is a good indicator of seeing if they're responsive or not. 3 is baby feeding. This is different from, after you're feeding, a baby's not feeding, but from the get-go, you're having a lot of trouble getting baby to feed. That's also something you can check on right away. Are baby's reflexes normal? Check on that, because sometimes if there's any abnormality, this is a sign to quickly find out about that. Some children or babies may not have anything when they're born right away, but maybe after a couple of weeks something can happen. So be conscious of that and be alert of that. So overall, as I mentioned the first one, if you have any kind of doubts, don't wait. Baby isn't able to communicate as we communicate to each other, so don't wait and try random things. It's better you just go to the hospital or your GP or your baby clinic, wherever you usually go. Just go there and get it checked out right away. So that was a bundle of things. Number 3 is to always check that baby is hydrated and not dehydrated. It doesn't matter how often a baby pees or wheezes, the diaper should not stay dry for more than, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks, especially when they're first born. If they are dry for over 6 hours, I would get that checked. So make sure every 4 to 6 hours it isn't dry. Number 2, or the second part of that, is the frontella might appear to be sunken, and that's also a sign of dehydration. That's the soft area of the skull where the bones haven't joined yet when they're first born. You may be alarmed at first. You might even kind of see a pulse beating beneath the skin of the frontella, but don't be afraid. It's normal, but make sure baby's hydrated. Number 4, I'm gonna just bundle a few things that you might get alarmed about, and these are things that you should not be alarmed about because they're completely normal, but these are very common, and I wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Number 1 is vaginal bleeding. It's kind of like light, very, very light period, really. It's very normal for newborn girls, especially during the first week of life. It's very normal. What causes it is mother's estrogen which is passing through baby's bloodstream, just not baby's bloodstream, just into before birth. So it will stop quite quickly, so don't worry about that. The other thing that a lot of moms, parents get concerned about is swollen breasts, or even if they see a little bit of milk on baby boy and girl, both of their breasts. Again, this is due to hormones during pregnancy. Nothing to be worried about. It's completely normal. So that should settle down within a few days. The other thing that's very common is parents get concerned about baby's head shape. Sometimes when they're born, it could look a little wonky, and really don't worry about that. That's nothing other than the pressure of the birth. It'll correct itself within a few months. The last thing that I like to mention that I've heard about, people get worried about, is baby's skin peeling really easily the first few days. This is completely normal. You'll notice skin peeling a lot on their little hands and feet. It'll clear up on its own very shortly. So those are some things to keep in mind, some things I've heard about that people really worry about, and I thought I'd share them with you. If there's other things when babies are newborn that you've experienced that gave you a startle at first, and then you realize, hey, this is totally normal, but no one told me about it, feel free to share that down below. A lot of other people will most likely find a lot of benefit from that, so don't be shy and comment away. Thanks, guys.